Hey guys, and welcome back, friends, to my channel. And I forgot to do this the last couple days, so let's get into it. It's Debsy, and the place to be, it's Debsy. That's me, Debsy. Boop. Here's an extra one for Brian for letting me know that I forgot to do my song, my theme song. So there we go. Loop. Okay, so happy Tuesday, everybody. Okay, so we are going to get into my thoughts on June's pick for the Binge Club with Debsy, and it was Heartstopper. And Heartstopper is it's a lovely series on Netflix, and it's based on the best-selling graphic novel, I believe, by Alice Oseman. And let me just tell you, I absolutely loved this show. There was not one thing that I did not like about this show. This TV show was suggested by my good friend Emily over at Emily's Life on Wheels. Thank you so very much for suggesting this. I absolutely loved this show. After watching the first pick for the Binge Club with Debsy was Under the Banner of Heaven. I did really like that show, but it was pretty dark. So I was happy to go into a show that was a little lighter. And it's basically about Charlie Spring, and it's set in England, and it's about Charlie Spring, a young boy who is gay, and he is paired with Nick Nelson. He sits next to Nick Nelson in class, and he develops a crush on Nick Nelson. Nick Nelson is this rugby player. He's a masculine, sporty kind of guy, and he sits next to him in class. And from there on, a relationship develops. And I loved to see this relationship developing from the beginning, because before Charlie got together with Nick, he was sneaking kisses on the side with Ben, and Ben didn't want anybody to know that this was happening. And I felt so bad for Charlie. And Charlie in the beginning was just shy, and when people would make comments and make homophobic slurs against him, he would just brush it aside and just kind of go invisible and not say anything. And enter in Nick Nelson. And from the beginning, he was I really enjoyed. My favorite character out of this show was probably Nick Nelson, because he wasn't your typical like masculine guy. He showed that to be masculine, you don't have to be brutish, and you don't have to be this big macho guy. He showed that being a masculine guy means having good character and for standing up for people. And I just absolutely loved how the show showed like a natural progression for Nick. Like he went in, and him and Charlie had hung out at Charlie's house, at Nick's house. And Nick could tell that there were some kind of feelings, but he didn't know. And it was just real. It was nice to see his natural progression, where he was kind of like, wait a minute. He was wondering if he is gay, and then he was wondering if he is bi, and just I loved seeing that. I loved seeing him going through all this of figuring out who he is. And the whole time, Charlie was there, and he had gone through it already, so he wasn't pushing him to come to the conclusion that he wanted him to come to. he was there. He was just saying, I'll be there. And peppered throughout, there were times when either at school or when they were out, that Nick's friends, you know, the popular boys would make fun of Charlie because Nick would bring him to different things and say, well, this is my friend, because he was saying, listen, don't tell anybody, but he wasn't saying in a way of like when Ben was saying, don't you dare tell anybody, and I'll make it tough for you, and blah blah blah, this and that. He wasn't nasty about it. He was just saying, listen, he was saying it from a point of confusion, like he didn't know exactly what he was feeling. But the whole time when his friends would make fun of Charlie, he would always stick up for Charlie and always just, you know, let his friends know, hey, this isn't right. You know, I mean, sure, he's different from you. That doesn't mean anything. This isn't cool. And these homophobic slurs and rants and jibs are not right. And throughout the whole thing, then he had seen what his friends were like, and he saw that he didn't want to be friends with people like this. I mean, that are going to make people that are not like them feel less than, which is not right. And so I loved seeing that. I loved seeing the progression of the relationship, but also the progression of Nick, like going through all of his different feelings and then realizing exactly, you know, exactly who he is. Also, I liked that in the beginning, Charlie was almost like invisible. He was just very shy, very meek. But then at the end, he really came into himself and, you know, said to Ben, listen, you're not going to do this to me anymore. I'm not going to let you just walk all over me and ruin my life. Forget this. This is not happening. So I like that. Now, also, starting out, there was a group of 4 friends that hung out. And there was Charlie, Tao, Isaac, and Elle. Now, Elle had gone to the same school as the 3 boys. It's an all-boys school. Well, she had transitioned. She was a boy and had transitioned. So she is now at a girls' school. And I liked the fact that when she went to the girls' school, she immediately kind of found her niche there with a couple of girls that ended up being in a relationship. So that was very nice to see that, you know, that no matter what your sexual identity is, that this is, you know, there's a place for you in life, and there's people, and you're people. It might take you a little time to find them, but you'll find your people. Also, the way that the families interacted and reacted to Nick and Charlie were phenomenal. I thought they were a perfect blueprint and example for other parents who may be in this situation. Charlie's father would drop him off and say, listen, if anybody bothers you, please call me. I'll come and get you. He was always very loving. And Olivia Colman played Nick Nelson's mom. And when he had come out as bisexual, she was very accepting and very supportive. So I liked that. I liked that the parents were written as just being loving and supportive to their children, because I mean, they're your children. So you should love them regardless. I also liked the dynamic between Elle and Tao. Like Elle liked Tao, but you know, he was kind of, I don't know if Tao was fighting against it. I don't think he was. I think maybe it was just that there was so much going on between Nick and Charlie, and Tao at the beginning was very against Nick and Charlie being together. I think at first I was thinking maybe it had something to do with the fact that he was jealous, that maybe like, hey, he was losing his friend. But the more I think about it, the more I think, I don't know, maybe I'm now thinking that Tao was just nervous about Nick possibly hurting Charlie, because he had seen how Ben hurt him, and he just didn't want that for his friend. So for the longest time, he just did not like Nick. And then eventually he told him, hey, listen, you know, this whole thing of you not wanting to tell anybody about you and Charlie, that you might feel like that's what Charlie wants, but it's really not what Charlie wants. He wants to be, you know, he wants people to know how to know about you guys. And from there on, smooth sailing. So I don't want to tell you guys everything what happens, but I just absolutely, I love this show. I loved this show. There is not one thing that I can say that I did not love about Heartstopper. So it's 8 episodes. Each episode I think is like half an hour long. You can easily binge it in a day. And I cannot wait for season 2 and season 3. And yes, it is confirmed that there's a season 2 and I believe a season 3 coming up. All the main characters are coming back. Now, from what I understand, the young lady who is playing Elle could be coming back, but her schedule is kind of complicated by the fact that she was cast in Doctor Who on the BBC. So we'll have to see exactly how that works with her. And I did hear that season 2 is going to be leaning in a little bit more to the mental health side of all of this, which is great. I mean, Alice Esmond had said that they're going to be leaning into some darker subject matter, but keeping it light enough so that the younger audience can watch it, and to also keep that feel about it, because I believe she does want it to be something that isn't so super heavy. But I do like the fact that they're going to be taking a look at some of the mental health issues of this, you know. So once again, I cannot recommend this show enough. You will love it. I loved everything about Heartstopper. So please go out and watch it. And if nobody has told you yet today, I love you. You're loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put kindness, love, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there, because we all need it. We all need it right now. So everybody have a great day, and I love you guys. Bye, guys.